Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodun Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs were placed along the Lagos-Ibadan toll gate to welcome people coming into Lagos State. The statue called the Three Wise Men by many has become a major signature for the state. Three white-capped chiefs clad in white wrappers, knotted across their shoulders and with clenched right fists are shown in the artwork. The images fascinate and create impressions in the minds of visitors coming into the state, captivating the attention of visitors who look with keen interest, pondering on the messages which the posture of the engraved images signifies. The Three Wise Men has been relocated thrice from its original position at Ojodu Berger end of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway to Magodo area before its final relocation to its present site at Olowopopo Drive. The sculpture has suffered severe damages over the years and renovated. Bodun Shodende, through this sculpture, depicted the highest honor that can be afforded to anyone in the Eko greeting tradition. The Three Wise Men, Arometa, SOUQ Enlightenment. In the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress, welcome to SOUQ News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, SOUQ News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. SOUQ News is more than a channel, it is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, SOUQ News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. SOUQ News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching SOUQ News. If you're not watching SOUQ News, I pity you, but keep watching SOUQ News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timida Kolo, and you're watching SOUQ News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at SOUQ News. Guys, keep watching SOUQ News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, SOUQ News is your station.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekbetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with the Daily Service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakande established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakande ran for election as Executive Governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakande established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakande was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakande, SOUQ Enlightenment.
Hello and welcome to SOUQ Pulse. It's the Friday edition of your favorite program, and it's my delight to be on this side, knowing fully well that you, my guests, my viewers, you are there, and we are about to do justice to what we are about to talk about today. It's been a beautiful, fruitful 1 week, and we dwelt and talked about a whole lot of things happening in Asia, Africa, and a little about the West. And we've always followed this theme on productivity when it comes to Africa. Today, we will further that discussion. But as you know, it's SOUQ Pulse, and we're live on SOUQ News. And we will tell you we are all about positive, and very positive programming. So when it comes to talking about loans from any source, not just mentioning coming from outside your country, any source, as long as it's positive, getting those infrastructure built, making sure that at the end of the day, businesses are moving forward, then we are all for it. We say, talk. When it comes to your own government formulating policies that will make the common person have a better life, we say it's positive, and we also tell you, talk. But when reverse is the opposite, we also tell you the same thing. Hey, don't keep quiet. It's SOUQ Pulse, and we keep talking. We'll make sure that across borders, businesses are seeing the very essence for why they are created, not just to create jobs, but at the end of the day, move nations and economies forward. My name is John-Rogers Chuks, and today on SOUQ Pulse, we are taking it a notch further, bringing it very closer home. When we return, we will introduce our guest who will be joining us via Zoom, and we'll get to introduce the topic that we are talking about today, something every one of us should get involved. Even if you're a white-collar person, or there is a particular lockup somewhere that you have to get into before you get to work, at the end of the day, there is things that we all need to contribute to what we are going to talk about today. So hey, don't go anywhere. SOUQ Pulse will be right back.
My name is Yinka Babalola.
My name is Ijoma Pelokoro.
My name is Joshua Hassan.
I am Rotarian or Mosunde Lawson.
It's Ife Yunwarita Ejeze. My friends call me Ife.
My name is Lola Dare. I'm inviting you to keep watching SOUQ News. It's the right station to tune to.
I like SOUQ News. SOUQ News is good.
I want to charge you all to listen to SOUQ News, watch the news.
You can have unlimited news, first time.
Find SOUQ News. Be with SOUQ News. Never switch off. You are better for it. SOUQ News is the real thing.
Listen to their coverage and you'll be glad you did.
Turn to your YouTube, turn to your Instagram, turn to all your digital channels and look for SOUQ News. Keep watching.
Keep watching.
Please, guys, keep watching
SOUQ News.
Welcome back to SOUQ Pulse. Africa is blessed with vast, fertile land. From the north up there, down to the ocean down here. From the Sahara down this way to the other side of the Sahara this way. The population is also there. So now, population and land, fertile land. Why are we still looking for food from outside Africa? Why do we still see those headlines of Africa in their need of foreign aid? To be specific, food. Why are we still getting food from some war-torn countries outside Africa sending food to? For example, Nigeria is unacceptable. Today we are looking at cultivating Africa's fertile land. You heard me right. Those lands that were hitherto be cultivated before, or abandoned, or left, or have not been cultivated before, we are asking this question. Whose responsibility is it to go till those land and put food on the table? Is a man that has eaten that will get up and go and do some good work. That itself is work. So whose responsibility is it to cultivate Africa's land? Today we have a guest on the show, someone who plays in this particular sector, the agriculture sector. Someone, I won't say has done some good for himself, but there is a particular company this young man has built, and over time they have shown that they are able to get people working in this sector. My guest is no other but Bountiful Atako, who happens to be the managing director of Alana Group Limited. So it's my pleasure to welcome you to the show. Bountiful, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a privilege to be here, on SOUQ News, SOUQ Pulse, to talk about agriculture.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm always glad when I see young people playing in this field. This is one particular sector. Over time, we've left it for parents, grandparents, and we think agriculture will thrive that way. So when I see young people in this particular sector, I say kudos. Thank you very much, Bountiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, I will start with our topic. So, Bountiful, who is responsible to cultivate Africa's vast fertile land? Whose responsibility is it?
Okay, so first of all, as a country, it's our responsibility because, we have a responsibility to feed ourselves, and that's why we at Alana Green Limited are, driven, to use technology as a tool in revolutionizing agriculture. So our focus at Alana Green is helping farmers to use fertilizer, small-scale mechanization to upskill their work. And it's not been easy to have farmers adopt our practices, but it's been growth all the way. And, funny enough, the times are the only time there is now for agriculture. We can see the issues that we have with the foreign exchange. It becomes dire all the time. So we have a responsibility as a Nigerian people to go back to the lands. And going back to the lands, means a lot of things. It's not only about cultivating the fields. We need to see agriculture as a business and not just farming because we like to, basically. So we need to have an approach that looks at the entire value chain. What can we do to improve the food systems? Do we want to play in primary production, which is the open field cultivation, or you know, greenhouses, what have you? Or do we want to play in the input value chain, fertilizer, seeds, and all of that? Do we want to be in logistics? What do we want to do as individuals? Do we want to be in digital technology to help? Are we innovators? Do we think we can develop products that will help our farmers and all that? So it's a collective responsibility. And if we don't start to answer these questions,
Thank you very much, Atako. Thank you very much. I like that part where the first thing you mentioned is a collective responsibility, which means it's not just farmers. So whose name is farmer? So it's my responsibility, is your responsibility, even though you're playing there. And it's the responsibility of everyone. That is always how we start our show, with the question from the topic. Now, do us this honors. Let's get to know and meet Alana Farms. Give us a brief of what does your venture do, Alana Farms, what do they do? Then we'll dive into our topic for today. Please, go ahead, please.
Okay, so Alana Green Limited is a farm service company that is focused on helping farmers use technology to grow their business sustainably. We do this through providing quality and affordable fertilizers to the farmers, small-scale mechanization services, as well as innovations that are globally proven and that can be scaled in Nigeria. So this is what our work has been focused on. We're a 2-year-old company. We have over 3,000 farmers who have adopted our practices. We're operational in about 7 states in the country. We, pretty much our work has, been impacting the lives of smallholder farmers. And at the time, our focus is building the largest small scale mechanization network in Africa, because we're starting from home, so in Nigeria, and then upscale to Africa. We have found that the smallholder farmers do not use mechanization because it's very expensive for them, and a lot of them even do not want to go as far as asking for the prices of these things, because they just have the mindset that is so expensive. So we've been able to, through research and development, my team and I have been able to come up with a product called Money Day Farm. Now, Money Day Farm is a product that helps farmers do land preparation in a mechanized way, planting in a mechanized way, so that they can get the production right to have a significant increase in yield. Now, that yield will help them know how profitable farming can be, and they would start to adopt more technology or more using in technology. Pretty much, that's a brief background about our work at Alana Green, and we're happy to collaborate, in whatever regard.
That's good. That's good. Thank you very much. Now, whenever I get to meet a young person, or let me just use that word, handsome, beautiful person in this particular sector, I bring up this issue. We don't get to see a number of young people joining this sector or getting into this sector. Even for those that study something close to this, we have several universities of agriculture spread across several African countries. But if we equate those graduating from those places and those practicing, it's a far cry from what we see. Now I ask you my question. How can we make agriculture sexy? How can we make it appealing for people to come in?
Okay, so I think that is part of the focus of our work at Alana Green, because technology is something that young people are very interested in. Technology is, the new cool for young people. So we were part of, would I say, a block, or what's the word? Well, we're part of some companies who are trying to encourage young people to come into farming through the use of technology. So from digital technology to artificial intelligence to big data to machine learning, these are some of the work that we're collaborating with partners across the globe to foster in Nigeria. Young people don't want to get their hands dirty, but we're saying farming can be done other than the traditional methods that you're used to seeing in the in the rural areas and the likes. And something else, we're trying to have a mindset shift, right? We want people to know that farmers are decent people. It's actually a blue collar job, and it's amazing to be a farmer. It's a thing of pride. I met a young lady, and she was speaking to some function, and they were speaking to the Senate, the Senate chairperson for agriculture. And I asked her, I said, look, you're talking to that man, are you a farmer? And she asked me that, what is that? Is that a job? And I was very, very, very distraught. Like, you would think that someone says to you or asks you if you're a farmer because he's trying to insult you. That's very, degrading. And wherever I am, I'm proud to introduce myself as a farmer. And young people need to know that if you're looking to be a billionaire or a very wealthy person, agriculture is just the way to go. The president of the African Development Bank made a proclamation that by 2030, the size of our farming will be somewhere around $1 trillion. I think we're already there. $1 trillion, I think they were already there. I also think that more investments in farming guarantees, sustainable wealth.
Very much, Atako. With this presentation of yours, especially the last 4 sentences you made, please sign me on. After this show, we'll get to talk. Now, let's ask some direct questions. Looking at what is happening right now, from Somalia to Sudan, to our neighbors, Niger, to Ghana, to Nigeria, then we'll go up north to Egypt. We'll see this particular trend of if rice is not coming to Africa, it is wheat that is coming to Africa. Sadly, corn, maize is coming to Nigeria. Now we ask this question, can Africa feed itself? If no, why? If yes, how?
Of course, Africa can feed itself. The first move to us as a people feeding ourselves is a shift from subsistence farming, to sustainable farming. And that can only happen through the use of technology. So I think that companies need to focus more in establishing processes that we use technology because manpower cannot, manual labor cannot cover what technology can. Also, the precision, the human errors need to be reduced so that we can do the job. I'd also like to share with you that Africa is very well positioned to feed the world. It's going to take time, but we can start by, mechanizing all of the farms that we have. That way, we'll be able to optimize our yield potential. We'll also be able to, have processes that would not be corrupted through human mistakes. And then we can be well positioned to feed ourselves, export to the globe. And then we need to also take farming very much seriously. We need to talk about farming in our schools. We need to talk about farming as a noble profession. Families need to consciously build individuals who will take up agribusiness as a profession. That's my thought on that.
Thank you very much. You mentioned some serious points we need to consider. You said optimize youth potential. You talked, before that, you talked about Africa being able to feed the world if we plug in and plug in right. Now, there is this school of thought that rural-urban migration is one major cause of less people or less hands in the farm, where you have Musa, Chinedu, Bayo, everybody leaving their rural areas and heading to Lagos or Kano or heading to Owerri, where everybody is packed in a face me, I face you apartment for 4, you have 100. Lagos alone has a population of over 15 million. Same with other major cities. They were at the lands to farm in those places. Do you think this school of thought have something to hold on to? Or is it possible that there is still a way where this major migration can also be utilized or profitable in one way or the other in getting the farms working?
So I think that first of all, it's more of our enthusiasm towards the profession that's being a farmer than where we are. Take for instance, Israel, has no arable land per se, but they grow gardens, they have farms, they grow their things on top of their roofs, right? That's the people who are serious about farming. And globally, they are literally like the first guys to go to when it comes to greenhouses and the likes. How about Netherlands, who's one of the world leading exporters of almost every agricultural produce? They have no land, of our size, so we can farm anywhere. Farming has passed the level of just land and all of that. We see what the likes of Samson Obole, the guy that they call the wizard farmer, is doing. Aeroponics is soilless farming. You get what I'm saying? Some people also do hydroponics, farming on water and all those things. So we need to have enthusiasm towards the profession. Start studying things that are related to farming. Start watching what the world is doing, global best practices. Excuse me. Go excuse me, global best practices, you know, um, what the in thing is as per innovation, technological advancements, and the likes. This is the way that we can go um, into farming. Also, when nothing is happening in the rural communities, it's normal. People will migrate to where there's economic prosperity. So we need to build our rural economy. We need to build socioeconomic growth and development in the rural areas. That's the only way people will stay, and that's the only way people come into farming. I know a lot of communities where their youths are not interested in doing anything else but farm, because when they go to the farm, after they harvest, they're able to buy tricycles, keke napep, these local things we call keke napep, put them on the road and all those things, and make some small investments. So we need to think about how do we cause our rural economy to boom, and then more people will stay in the rural areas. People just want to be where there is economic prosperity. That's my thoughts on that as well.
Okay, thank you very much. People want where there is prosperity, and according to you, I can't become a billionaire in agriculture. That kind of stuck in my head, and I don't know it will still stick. Now, before that, you said something about catching them young. Now, there has been this adage, I don't know if you've seen it several times, where it's continually said, in our schools, we have compulsory subjects whereby English is taught, and it's by force. Everyone must study English and get a credit in English, whereas agriculture is not a compulsory subject in our schools. So we have people who are very good and versatile in English, and they are hungry. Now, let's reverse it. Should we start looking at making agriculture compulsory from primary to secondary, even as electives in tertiary institutions?
First of all, as an individual, I don't think that any course should be compulsory. I think learning is a matter of interest. If I'm interested in something, I should be able to indicate and then start to develop in that regard. Now, agriculture can be encouraging schools by having agronomy clubs, by having field days, by inculcating it into our curriculum. So, for example, I stumbled into the sector by mistake. I had just started a young family. I tried to open a shawarma business, but after we were done with our concept, the owner of the property said he wanted to do that business and tried to refund us our money. We gave him a fight, and then after giving him a fight, my mother-in-law said, "Never mind, just let it be." And after that, my wife's cousin, who was a big player in the sector, I approached him. I said, "Look, so I want to come learn what you do. I want to see how I can sell products for you." He was in the fertilizer industry, and that's how I was able to come into the sector. And I saw that the sector is much more than fertilizer. I came in as a salesman. I've been selling all my life. So I thought it was going to be sales and all that. But I fell in love with the sector. I found that it had deeper meaning. It had purposeful work, and all of that to do. So I stuck to it. Now, I had known agriculture right from secondary school, but not in depth. I come from Port Harcourt, River State. I've never seen a farm. We moved to Abuja when I was about 13. I have never seen a farm until the first farm I had been in sometime, 3-4 years ago. But the thing about it is we need to talk about these things better in school. We need to have agri professionals come take those courses in school. We need to make our kids understand the impact of the sector. It's not just about generating revenue or adding growth to the GDP. All of those things are fantastic, but it's about meaningful work. It's about feeding people, because people need to feed to stay alive, pretty much. I think that's one way we can go as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Now let's start bringing this home. A lot of farmers in Africa are small-scale farmers. If I add scale, I'm being nice. So we've seen over the years, using Nigeria as an example, we've had loans on this, loans on that. We've had money being thrown at farmers. Whether it gets there or it doesn't get there, that we might not be able to tell right now because we don't have that data. But over the years, we've seen billions and billions, to the extent of having Bank of Agriculture, Bank of Industry, and other banks also coming into it. Compared to the monies that have been dropped into this particular ocean and the yield that has come forth, they don't correlate. At what point in time should we change that system of throwing money at who we don't know is productive?
That's a tough one. Okay, so that's a tough one. Actually, it threw me off balance. A lot of money has been thrown into the sector, and I'm part of the block that thinks that a lot of our farming interventions are political interventions. They are mentioned and they never happen. I don't have the data, like you said, to dig into these things, but I know that impact is largely done by private companies. I also think that NGOs, development partners need to work closely with growing companies, because growing companies are, going through a lot to stay afloat as businesses. Whereas the larger companies, a lot of them who are given the funds to do this work, either don't do them or find smaller companies that they subcontract this work to. I feel that our impact can become more as the private sector, because I speak for the private sector, if we focus on shared prosperity. We want the farmers to be successful so that they can buy our products and then they can also do well. So I think that we should look at building our products and then have the government tap into it, because it's succeeding, not because we want to get some government handouts and all. We go building intervention programs and calling on government. No, the government should be able to see that we're succeeding in our own game, and then they want to be associated with us. So I think that's one way impact can become more. We also need to be deliberate in building these models to say we want economic prosperity, we want to build jobs, we want socioeconomic growth, and these are the measures that needs to be put in place to make sure that we see all of these things happen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. I just want to narrate this sad story. Some years back, not too long ago, a loan was given to, in quote, rice farmers. Rice farmers. So I'm wondering, somebody that is living in a very good, beautiful apartment somewhere in Abuja that doesn't even know where the farm is, how come they are getting those loans? Now, as we speak right now, the government is still trying to get the money from the farmers. But it's the farmers now that we are finding more, not just the money. We are going on a break. We'll be right back. Our guest is still with us. He's going nowhere, and we are proud to have him. SOUQ Pulse will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Idumota Market. Eko Idumota, once a residential neighborhood, is home to Idumota Market located on Lagos Island. It is one of the oldest and arguably one of the largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade, and later under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to exports that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo Masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota Market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota Market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Market, SOUQ Enlightenment.
My name is Veronica Nkechi Eze.
Charles Abana. My name is Professor Martins Emeje.
Professor Sylvester Odion Akaine.
Keep watching SOUQ
News TV.
The best news channel online.
It's elevating, it's enlightening, it's educating.
Muhammad Ali found this root in Africa. Rumble in the jungle. I swear the king is humble. Jesse Jackson, O.J. Simpson, this is black history. Andrew Young visit Africa in the late 60s. Legend, Bob Marley make the light different. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are big names. They fought for black Americans in the old days. We need the same revolution in our own ways. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Mr. Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre and Eddie Murphy. American prosperity ain't complete with African poverty. It's legendary Idris Abdul Karim, and you are on to SOUQ News. You don't touch that dial.
Hello and welcome back to SOUQ Pulse. It's still SOUQ Pulse. My name is Chuks and we're live on SOUQ News. We've been discussing cultivating Africa's vital lines and asking this straightforward question. Whose responsibility is it? Yes, you heard me. Whose responsibility is it? We'll have a guest in the studio. He's joined us via Zoom, Bountiful Atako. He is the AMD of Alana Green Limited, and he's been doing justice to this particular discourse, and we are glad he's still here. Bountiful, how are you doing?
Chief, I'm okay. How you doing?
Good. Now, let's continue from where we stopped. We talked a bit on funding. We talked a bit on loans, to be precise, getting to hands that might not need it, or loans that were given not being able to be recovered. Now, let's follow this thought on your line of work. You help and assist small farmers to get into mechanization. And you made it clear that for some of them, they are scared of signing on because they think that mechanization is that expensive. Now, is it possible to have these small farmers aggregate? Is it possible to also be able to get some of this equipment, be it heavy or small equipment, for the group to use instead of just one set or one person or one farmer being the one to cough out the finances for it? Then lastly, is it possible to help this specific farmer, since they are directly linked with you, get access to funding or for mechanization?
Okay, so for starters, I think I'll just break down our product to you and then the audience so you can understand. Now, like I said, we've seen a lot of companies who are doing great work in the mechanization space. They aggregate the orders of small scale farmers, 2 hectares here, 5 hectares here, and all of that, and then wait till it's about 50 or 100 hectares before they come in and work. Now, what that means is individual farmers will be suffering because they need to wait for other people to tag along. Now, what we have done as a business is to look at the needs of these farmers. Now, there are these machines, these mini tractor machines, hand tractor machines, 18 horsepower and below, that can do the same work as tractors. They are convenient to move around, easy to deploy, accessible, and cost effective. You know, we've been able to build a model that is cost effective to the farmers. So the option is about 4 times cheaper than the conventional 75 horsepower tractors, 90 horsepower tractors, and then about twice cheaper than manual labor cost. Now, we've come up with a model to say we can clear your land for you, harrow, ridge, plow, whatever it may take, and then you just come in and plant. Or you can go for our package B, which will entail that we clear the land, prepare the land for you, land preparation rather, prepare the land for you, and then plant for you as well. And we also have other packages to this. And we, as a team, came up and said, look, how do we, what is the benefit of this product to these farmers? And we gave the product a name, which is the benefit. And the product is Money Day Farm. Money Day, one word, and a farm. Now, Money Day Farm can only be a reality if the farmers see that indeed their yield is improved. Through mechanization, their yield can be improved. If the farmer was making 20 bags and now you bring in a planter, the spacing is right, and then the products do well. From 20 bags, is able to do 25 bags, and then from 25 bags, is able to do 30 bags. From 30 bags, is able to go to another hectare. Obviously, the claim is right that Money Day Farm. So this is the product that we launched for farmers. We don't need farmers to aggregate anymore. That time is past. With your 1 hectare of land, call on our service. We'll come and we would mechanize your land. We're also calling on organizations, funding organizations who are looking to do work in that direction. We're here. Partner with us to upscale what we're doing. We have only started to go live in Bauchi. We're looking at the Jigawa State as well, and also in the south of the country. But there's a lot that we can do with more finance. Now, funds for farmers is a big issue, but I'm sure that if the financial sector can sit down with a company like Alana Green Limited, we can develop funding options for these farmers, and with the guarantee, we can make giant strides in this regard.
Thank you very much, Bountiful. It's a good process. It's a good chain of thought when you've solved the problem yourself, and you're not just solving it. You've already deployed and already solving it. That's good. Now let's go to government policies. This can make or break a business, and just like you said, farming is business. Now we are going to look at it in 2 ways. Over the years, what are the government policies that you have seen that is not in direct support of farming? And what are those other policies that you've also seen that is helping? Then which of them is working against the other? Let's now look at the government side of it.
Well, I like the fact that the government is encouraging local production. That's a win for us. I like that very much. I also do not, like the fact that the government is not holding giant mechanization companies like John Deere, Mercy Ferguson, Mahindra, Sonalika to say, look, before you can come and do business in Nigeria, you need to build an assembly plant. You need to organize for knowledge transfer and sharing. Excuse me. you need to train this number of people, and we will encourage you to do business, which means we're going to buy your products and stay with you and all of that. So pretty much that's the two basic ones for me.
Let's move ahead. Our time is fast spent. Let's go to storage. Now you've provided the farmer, no matter how big or how small he is in his locality, you can service them. Thank you. Now you've provided the farmer with your services. He's prepared his land, he has planted, he has done the process from planting, he has harvested. Now another issue where they are scared, you were mentioning 20 bags to 30 bags to 50 bags. Now possibility they scale up as much as they can. The next issue is storage, which is a major problem in Africa. A lot of products from the farms are spoiled between farm and market, or between farm and date of processing. How can we start looking forward to better storage, be it personal, be it in group, or be it provision? We really don't have silos anymore.
So I can speak for our business, Alana Green Limited. On the same product we're talking about, we're working to see how we can mitigate post-harvest loss to an extent, as far as we are concerned. So what we also are doing in that regard is that we are incorporating a logistic arm to this smallholder mechanization, where a trailer attachment can work in hand with the machines to help farmers move out their products from the farm gate. We also are partnering with our partners who are in processing, rice millers and the likes, to be able to fund us to buy back these products from the farms that we service, because there's no need to help people, optimize their yield if there's no access to market. So we're working around that, and I'm sure the products will have those components as well. I also think that government should look at concessioning most of storage facilities to be managed by private businesses. It's clear that the capacity isn't really there to manage, and private businesses run on profits. They would not want to go on that. I think those facilities should be concessioned. I think that the government should increase the agro-processing zones that they're doing to include storage facilities and the likes, pretty much.
Okay. Now we are still moving as fast as we can. Let's now look at another issue, and that has to do with, you mentioned it a little bit, but now let's dive into it. We're looking at secondary product. Now the farmer, no matter what, if it's cereals, no matter what he's producing, at the end of the day he has a primary product. If he takes that to farm, yes, he will sell, yes, he will get some profit, but that is still limiting. How can we get other organizations, other companies, other businesses within Africa to form units or factories where a lot of these primary products can start being processed, and not us exporting cocoa and going to import chocolate, or exporting palm nuts, no matter the quantity, and go and import processed oil from Malaysia. So these are the next point of call for us. How do we start churning out this primary product and turning them to secondary product, be it from cassava, be it from cereals, be it from brine?
So it will interest you to know that a lot of companies are actually doing great work in the processing value chain. The cocoa you spoke about, I know a lot of indigenous companies that are processing chocolate, and if you taste their chocolate, you can never know that they were made, in the country, because we have a mindset that anything that's made in Nigeria is almost inferior. But that's wrong. Nigerian agripreneurs are hardworking. They are doing their researches right. They're putting in systems to make sure that they deliver the best products across the globe. I know one who's in Kubwa, Abuja. I know a lot of other companies, or I'm aware of other companies that are on those states. So that's on that. Then, like I also said, earlier in the show, that we need to look at being intentional across the value chain. So we need to look at processing, as a part of the value chain that we want to intentionally develop. And I also think, because I know a lot of people who are working in that regard, they are doing a lot of great work. The Bank of Industry is funding a lot of processing businesses, developing consumer goods, and also developing products for export. I think the NEPC also is doing some grant and all of that. But the government can only do as much as they can. Private individuals also need to do their research, build businesses that will add value to the raw materials we have. Everybody cannot be in primary production. Everybody cannot be, it's just like oil, upstream and downstream. It happens in agriculture. Everybody cannot be upstream. Some people need to play downstream. What does downstream mean? You need to add value to what you're doing and sell to the end users.
Earlier on, you mentioned Denmark, you mentioned Netherlands. These countries, when it comes to land mass, some states in Nigeria can sit and compete with them. Some states in Niger maybe can double their size. Now, but these are places that they send food to Africa. I think I'm saying that with a bit of shame. Now, where am I heading to? I'm heading to animal husbandry. I'm heading to our cows. The major thing we get from our cows in most African countries, most Sahel African countries, is just beef. And we still have this, we still practice this tradition of moving cattle from one region to the next or within states. And now we are having conflict as they graze along this path, all for beef. Milk, we import most of it. Butter, we import most of it. A lot of all these products. How can we start looking at keeping this set of animals in one place and making them more productive? Because as they move across, the conflict come with it. The farmers with the land have issues. And the cows themselves, all they offer is beef. Now we don't even have anything like a market for hay, unlike what happens there. So that whole chain is lost, all because an old tradition of moving cattle from one region to the next still persists. What do you think we should do to get a change?
So a lot of companies in the dairy sector are developing the dairy sector. I know of a colleague, a friend, Aminu Yako, who's doing great work at Shubere Farms in Adamawa State. In fact, their yogurt is the best that I know off the shelf in Nigeria right now. Admirala yogurt, I often take it. When I go to the store, I look up for it as well. I also know that Free School as well is doing some great work, building dairy stations across the country. So I think that players in that sector, we don't play in that sector. They are also researching. They are, collaborating with international organizations and countries like the Danish people that you talked about, because they have the most stable dairy industry. And they are developing the sector. The smallholder dairy farmers are also learning what they need to about the sector. An organization contacted us 2 weeks ago to ask how we can conduct training in the dairy sector and all of that. Sahel Consulting as well is also a big name in the space. So there are a lot of companies doing a lot of work on that, and they're trying to move the dairy, livestock, or rather integrate the livestock and the dairy sectors together, industries together, so that it'll be more than beef for us.
Okay, now let's go to where everything gets to the point where we all get to smile, and that's the market. You mentioned a bit about your company and your organization looking forward to be able to take this product after post-harvest away from the farmers so that the loss does not occur. But now, for the ones that they need to bring to the market, you mentioned about the trade zones that are popping up. How can this go beyond not just mentioned on paper or television sets? How can this go to the extent where we see them working on a normal basis, whereby the farmer is done, he moves his yield not far from him to the market, gets his finance back, and go back and continue what he wants to do?
So for starters, farmers need to come clean. When I mean farmers need to come clean, farmers need to desist from, putting in impurities into their bags because they're trying to get weight. That's wrong. That doesn't help the aggregator. That spoils business for the aggregator, and the business spoils for the aggregator is not going to come back, to you. And then second of all, when farmers enter contracts with aggregating companies, they need to honor their contracts. They need to stop side selling and these things. We also need insurance companies who will build products for farmers so that the risk can be shared between the aggregation companies, farmers, and them in some way, some form. I might not be able to give the framework now, but I know that that's also part of the risks that aggregators are scared of, that's making them not pump, money into farmers. Now, farmers are involving in these practices because their yield is not, enough for them. It's small. They're struggling to be above water. Now, when we can get the products right, it'll be easier to export. It'll be easier to have foreign direct investments coming and earn the so needed foreign exchange. Now, aggregating companies can grow in size, that's as per profits, and then build agro hubs, storage facilities closer to the farm gates, because it'll be easier for them to collect their goods and then export, or give to the exporting firm. So we need to, like I said, have a shift in mindset. We need to see farming as a business. We do not need to shortchange anybody. Farmers are known for shortchanging people, and that has the trust deficit between aggregation companies, farmers, the exporters themselves is a huge problem in itself. It's causing the market to grow slowly, and that's not what we need. So we need to have everybody come clean and let's start doing the job that can make our market far more viable and have foreign investors come in to invest with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Bountiful. It's been nice having you. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
I hope we will call you next time. And I look forward to not just a Zoom discussion, but having you live on set, and we will do some good banter, agree and disagree. I like that kind of discussion. Thank you very much for coming in today. He is the MD, Managing Director of Alana Green Limited, and we say again, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you. Now, to everyone that was part of this project for today, this is a project. When we talk about agriculture, it is indeed a project. You heard him. We are all responsible. We need to play our part. Everybody must not go to the farm, but everybody can contribute to making sure that the farm works. And to you that is not coming clean, get those yields to those aggregators. Whoever wants to buy and also make profit. It's a circle. Nobody wants to play loss. And we can feed ourselves. It's a good weekend, and we say, hey, have a good blast and remain good. Remember, never stop talking. We on SOUQ PULSE say thank you very much and have a nice week. My name is Chuks, John-Rogers Chuks, and see you on Monday.